The negotiations on a Brexit trade agreement should not end while there is still a chance. The EU is giving the negotiators a few days to wrestle with Britain. Commission Chief von der Leyen shows two options. Despite the extreme time pressure, the European Union still sees opportunities for a Brexit trade pact with Great Britain from January 1st. The next few days are crucial, wrote EU negotiator Michel Barnier on Twitter on Monday. In the European Parliament, however, anger is growing because there's almost no time left to ratify a possible treaty before the end of the year. EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and British Prime Minister Johnson agreed to continue the negotiations, although they had actually announced a decision for Sunday. The Brexit transition period ends on December 31st. Then, after leaving the EU at the end of January, Great Britain will also leave the internal market and the customs union. Without an affiliation agreement, there is a risk of tariffs and trade barriers. Von der Leyen said on Monday that one question was crucial, and that is whether Britain wants smooth access to the internal market. Great Britain is welcome, but they either have to play by our rules, because that is a question of fairness for our companies in the internal market, or the other option is that they pay a price, and the price is tariffs. In doing so, she was alluding to a mechanism that is supposed to ensure fair competition. If the UK deviates from EU standards, the EU could impose tariffs. In addition to EU fishing rights in British waters, the question is the central sticking point in the negotiations. Johnson said on Sunday, despite the continuation of negotiations, a no deal was still more likely than an agreement. In contrast, in briefings for the EU states and the EU Parliament on Monday, Barnier gave very cautious confidence. After the extensions for talks about a Brexit trade pact, hopes are growing that a breakthrough could still come. Ireland's Foreign Minister Simon Coveney told Irish broadcaster RTE on Sunday that the negotiators were extremely tight-lipped about the details of the talks. This is a sign that serious discussions are going on and neither side is breaking trust. I see that as a good sign, said the Irishman. Originally, the final decision was to be made on Sunday as to whether the negotiations on a trade pact would be broken off or a deal would come about. But after a short phone call between EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, both sides announced that the talks should continue. However, no concrete progress was named. A new deadline was initially not mentioned. The main arguments are about ensuring fair competition and access for European fishermen to British waters. And by the way, everyone is still bringing up the ECJ. For that part, the EU gave a compromise months ago. No one is talking about that part in public anymore because they would have a compromise there. There is also no consensus on the instruments to be used to enforce the agreement. But, as I said, there is a possible compromise, and I don't think that the whole thing will fail on that one. And that's not saying because the EU made that compromise. Oh, by the way, the EU said something. Many of you, as from the Brexiteer side, of course, are often stating, I must be paid by the EU. First of all, well, I wish. No, I'm not. This is a hobby, and it's paid for by the ads on these videos, by my members and my patrons, and some are giving me some coffee or whatever, like yesterday again, a nice Christmas gift. So thanks for your Christmas gift yesterday. I won't mention names here, but thank you very much. I appreciate that. And at the moment, at least what many of my British viewers are telling me, at the moment I'm obviously paid quite a lot by Nigel Farage. Think about that one. I love the irony. The talks about a Brexit trade pact between Great Britain and the European Union are still being continued. EU Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen and British Prime Minister Boris Johnson agreed on this during a phone call, as I said. A final decision should actually already be made, but this has now been postponed again. The issues of fair competition and access for European fishermen, we will always repeat that in the next few weeks and probably even after December 31st. Hours before the end of what is probably the last deadline in the struggle for a Brexit trade pact, the government in London has published details of its no-deal plan. A government spokesman said that a strategy book had been developed in which every single predictable scenario was played out. It is feared that a no deal after the end of the Brexit transition phase could lead to kilometers of traffic jams on the roads leading to the important ferry terminal in Dover at the end of the year. As I've seen on some other videos on YouTube, there are traffic jams like hell at the moment already. Much of the trade with the European continent is carried out via the ferry connection to Calais in France and via the nearby Eurotunnel. Some physical checks must be implemented in any case. But if no agreement is reached, there would also be customs duties and quantity restrictions, the so-called quotas, that would have to be observed. The formalities and controls required for this could quickly overwhelm small and medium-sized companies in particular and lead to trucks jamming at the checkpoints. In addition, some of the computer programs that were developed for this purpose could not be tested. There could be a narrow path to an agreement if the negotiators clear the remaining hurdles in the next few days, said an EU diplomat, and under the circumstances I've just pointed out before, this isn't the worst thing. There has been some progress in the past few days, but at times considerable, differences still have to be bridged, it continued. The Social Democrat MEP Bernd Lange told the German press agency that the negotiators had converged on some technical details. But on the main points of contention, Barnier presented little new. The left Brexit expert Martin Schirdewan said that Barnier provided fewer and fewer details in the final phase of the negotiations. Only the finished text will bring clarity about the content of the contract. Since there was practically no time left for an examination before the end of the year, Parliament was disregarded in its rights. That is completely unacceptable, said the left-wing group leader, who, like Lange, is part of the Brexit coordination group. Schirdewan said that there would only be an easy way to officially introduce it into Parliament on December 27th and deal with it in a special session between the years if a finished text of the treaty is available this week. Lange said Thursday was the last deadline for this. EU Commission spokesman Eric Meimer only said about ratification, where there's a will, there's a way. If it is not ratified in time, there are basically three options. A provisional application of an agreement, if it comes about before the end of the year. A transition period of a few days or weeks without a contract. Or a permanent coexistence without a trade agreement. And Barnier campaigned for understanding on Twitter. Never before had such a comprehensive contract on trade, energy, fishery, transport, police and judicial cooperation been negotiated so transparently and in such a short time. And if you want to stay informed, please subscribe to my channel, visit my other channels. I'll see you in my next video. Viel Spaß!